Sir David the Bard. You see, wait a minute. I bought a new light. He's down too low. There he goes. It's the only light I'm ever going to see in the Mormon church, I can tell you that. Listen, Sir David the Bard, I'm here. I'm in a can of worms, and you're probably going to wonder why and how I got into a can of worms, okay? I said I'm Sir David the Bard. God, I can't even remember. Anyway, here's what's going on. You know that I'm suing Spanky. Okay, go on YouTube and just look up Edwin B. Perry. Edwin B. Perry, and he's the Invisible Man. You can't see a picture of him. You don't know who he is, but he lives up there in Crestview Drive. I've been to his house, and I'm probably going to go up there again to serve him more papers. Anyway, here's where the lawsuit went. It's still going. Oh, it'll go 4 or 5 years. I know that before I ever got into it. I spent a little time yesterday at the University of Utah Medical Hospital. Yeah, I flew in. Jenny, the kangaroo pilot, she's new. God dang. You know, she's new. She landed on the lawn. The police came out and it's Sir David the Bard, let it go. But Jenny, she landed on the damn lawn there at the University of Utah campus. And I had to walk up to the hospital. Anyway, I go in and I say to the billing department, can I have a list of all the bills that I've accrued here and the payments that I've made? Oh, we can't give you that. I said, God damn, you're the billing department. Well, yes. But we only have half that information. I said, why? He said, I don't know. Anyone that answers the phone, please, I don't mean to insult anybody, but anyone that answers a phone or meets you at a counter, they're not the brightest star in the sky, and they ain't running the place. I don't know. Well, okay, who knows? I don't know. So anyway, it's within my 15-minute period of being able to behave myself. So I went over to customer relations, or customer service. There's no service there, but they call it customer service. It is the flaming sword up the ass, first door, to your left. And I'm going to use names. Screw him. Dustin. Dustin said to me, your request to see the Articles of Incorporation, the 5013C application, and all of the donors in the last 2 years to the university has been sent over to the Attorney General's office. And I go, okay. He says, you'll get it in the mailbox any day. Okay. So I'm standing by the mailbox. I'm an old man standing by. I've been there, 200 years. Well, they don't send the document. That don't discourage the Bard. The Bard doesn't get discouraged, and the Bard don't roll that way. So I go over. Now, these are clear across Salt Lake City, and I told Jenny, I said, get the motorcycle out and get the Harley, and I'll ride on the back, drive me over to the Attorney General's office. She said, okay. Now, my other one, she had that little butterfly tattoo on her butt, my kangaroo, and she's driving. Well, this one has one on her neck, and it says, love the Bard. Well, I just snuggled up to the neck. She loves the Bard. Anyway, she drops me off over there. I go in, and you know what? I hate to say it, because this is not something I want. I want to be a very quiet, gentle, humble human being with extremely low visibility. I enjoy, watching other people be stupid. I don't want to be in the group. So I go in. The fat lady that tried to help me before, that the manager had to come down and order her to go get me a drink of water. She didn't want to talk to me at all, so she shuts the door, and she's hit the button. It's the Bard. It's the Bard. Goddamn. So I go in this other guy's office, and I have to admit, I don't know his name, but he was nice. He was a nice man, a gentleman, and he was courteous. He was polite. He was informed. That's the only one I've ever found in Utah that's that way. So anyway, he's given me, the information. He says he's going to print out what I accrued as a payment and what I paid as a payment. So he's working, and that 5 minutes later, here comes the head guy down. They must have a Bard alarm, like in the banks. They step on the Bard is here. So Chris comes down. I like Chris. I do. And Chris is another guy I think so far has been very honest and very upright. And I said to Chris, I just talked to Dustin over in the hospital, and he said that the documents should be ready for me that I requested. And Chris said, well, I just got the request this morning. God damn. I said, what, did you put them on the Pony Express? It's only 4 miles away. He said, I don't know, I just got the request this morning. I'll expedite it. I said, fine. I said, I need it because I've got a court date I'm up against. So Dustin tells me he's already sent it off, and Chris says 2 weeks later, I just got it this morning. University of Utah Medical Center, here we go. So I want to be kind. Not. I called Dustin back. So Dustin, you told me that, that was coming in my mailbox, and I just talked to Chris, who's doing the audit, and he said he just got the request today, 2 weeks later. There goes the reformed Egyptian. They all dance the same way. It looks like the hokey pokey. And, when they do that, it scares my kangaroos. It does. Jenny just hopped right out of the office. She goes, I don't want to see it. Okay, honey, just go out and sit there and keep the bike warmed up. So anyway, Dustin says to me, finally, the truth. Well, I gave that to somebody else, and they must have delayed. See, there's always the invisible straw man in Mormonism. There's always someone to blame, but we don't know who it is. And I said, well, okay, that's fine. It wasn't, but I was trying to be polite. So, anyway, I had one of those days where it's back and forth. I can't find out how much I paid, how much I owe, and all of these University of Utah facilities are located in different places of Salt Lake City. Some of them are 4 or 6 miles apart, and you've got to go to each one. No normal person could do what I'm doing. It is at the very edge of my education and degrees, knowledge, experience, and age. No housewife, no regular father could go through this nightmare. They'd just rather pay the money and say, screw it. The Mormons got my money. Now, here's what I found out, and it was an important piece of information. The University of Utah Hospital and Medical Center, which is a 501(c) nonprofit corporation, is owned by the state of Utah. Jesus Christ. The Mormons own the hospital. Now, what difference does that make to you and me? Well, Spanky and the Attorney General's office have some kind of a symbiotic relationship of getting money for me and you that maybe we can't afford through the collection agency. It's, Adolf Hitler's pictures on the wall of Spanky's law office. Let me put his name in again so the crawler will get it. Edwin B. Perry, Edwin B. Perry. So anyway, I see Hitler's picture on the wall. So I say, well, I'm going to go over to Hitler's bunker. And it was a bunker. I went into Express Recovery Services on Decker Lake Road in Salt Lake City. Jenny drove me over there. There was no Harley or motorcycle parking, so we just parked in the handicapped area there. And I go in. As soon as you enter the door, there is a glass wall, like 3 inches thick. And I can see through the wall all the people in the back calling to bug you. And so I walk up, and I'm still in my 15 minutes, and I said to the lady, I'm David, I want to say my last name. I'm David the Bard, and I'd like to know how much money I owe you. She goes into the computer, and I'm sitting there, because my 15 minutes is just about up. She says, oh, I can't tell you. I said, is it secret or sacred? It's sacred. She says, I've got to give you this little note. You need to go see, I think it was Kelly, K-E-L-L-I. I said, okay, where's Kelly? I thought I was going clear back across. She's in this building. I said, well, can you just have her come out and talk? No. I said, well, how do I get a hold of her? I don't know. This was like Hitler's bunker. You know, I was a glazer. I know what bulletproof glass looks like. It was all bulletproof. I don't think Spanky is that popular. I don't have bulletproof in my house and in my office. So anyway, I happen to know by experience there was a secret door, and you had to have handshakes and pay lay ambi to get into the damn. So I went around to the back of the building, and sure enough, there's this steel door. Anything? This is my other kangaroo. What has she got here? Oh, you printed it?
I printed it.
Okay, thank you, baby girl. Go to work and make the barred money. I love you. You are so cute. Anyway, we go to the back of the building. Now, this door looks worse than a custodial door. Now, you remember, I was a guard for a while, a security guard, so I know shit. I know what a janitor's door looks like, but it's steel. It's a steel, and I was a glazer. I know what a steel door. You can't hardly ever break into a steel door. A torch, but someone's going to see you. Anyway, I see these people coming up from the outside. They have like hamburgers, and they push in a code, which takes 38 minutes for the code, and the door. I swear I'm at NORAD. I swear I'm at NORAD. So I watch the people. So I'm in my car, and I call Kelly on the cell phone. I said, this is Sir David the Bard. Kelly, are you in there? Oh, yes. I said, I'd like to see you. What's this about? It's about the money that I owe Express Recovery Services. Says, well, I have to check on something. I know what she has to check on. How to cover her ass. So anyway, she never comes back on the phone. And I get Spanky. And Spanky is saying basically, we're going to screw you. You're screwed. We hate you. We don't care if you're a single mom, an open heart surgery patient. We don't care. We're going to screw you. Here comes my secretary again.
Don't forget Allison.
Oh, the kids? Okay. She wants me to beat the children when they come home because they won't do their work.
No, Allison's homework.
Oh, Allison's homework. Okay, beat her for that. So anyway, she puts me through to Spanky. Well, you know, you got to be a little bit careful what you say on a recorder because they can come back and bite you on the ass. So I said, Spanky. It's a new alias. People are calling him Spanky in Utah. Spanky, I can't find out how much I owe over here, and you're not calling me back. I can't pay anything, and I don't think you really want my money. I think he wants me to disappear. Ain't gonna happen, Spanky. And I told him that. I said, you know, I'll see your ass in court, and it's obvious. You've got a fortress here. You couldn't be that popular. You know, it's worse than the President of the United States. Spanky is safe inside that bunker, and I bet he was in there. I bet he was in there, but, you know, how do you... That's supposition. So, anyway, I drive away from Spanky's place. So, at the university, or not there, the Attorney General's office, I say to them, do you collect for everybody? No, just the University Medical Center. We own it. I said, whoa, whoa. Slow down. The Bard can't even... It's like Joseph Smith, the hanky-panky. I'm married, I'm not married. No, I don't like 14-year-olds. Yes, I do like 14. Anyway, I say to the Attorney General's office, how are you able to collect my tax refund? He says, oh, that's simple. I said, oh, really? How simple is it? He said, you owe the University of Utah X amount of dollars, and we owe you an X amount of dollars. We cancel them out. Oh, God damn. I've never seen such an incestuous, evil system in my life. You know, the mob. The mob is much better. They just go, pay me, kill you. Pay me, kill. There's two words there, you know. So, I say to him, listen, I think I've paid too much. Could I get an accounting? Well, this is the time that Chris comes down. And I say, Chris, hey, when am I going to get this account? He said, I just got it this morning. I'll get it to you in a day or so. I said, no, don't mail it. There's no postage stamps in the state of Utah for the regular government people. I'll just walk up here and put it in my hand, you bastard. You never call back. You never do anything. I just have to go up there and show my face. That scares the hell out of them. So I said, I'm not understanding this whole system. And I said, who can you send me to the council? Is it a law firm here in Salt Lake City that's defending the university? And Spanky. And he says, well, Spanky has to defend himself in your lawsuit because he's recovery services. But the medical center that you owed money to, the Attorney General is their counsel. I go, what? I'm up against the Attorney General's office in the state of Utah for a $174 disputed bill? Yes. And you're going to be getting some paperwork from them. I bet I am. You got 21 days in Utah if you serve somebody with a lawsuit. They have 21 days before they respond. But they're not going to be a one sheet of paper response, believe me. And I'm sure I'm going to be countersued by the Attorney General's office for who knows what they're going to make up. Impotence, is that against the law? So anyway, now I know I'm going to get legal response from the Attorney General's office of the state of Utah. Now, folks, let me tell you something. This is going to save you $1 million and your life. Here it comes. It's all free. Bard goes for free. That's why I'm not a Mormon anymore. Mormons don't do anything for free. They want my $174. Anyway, here it is. I had my open heart surgery over at St. Luke's. No, that's in Manila. St. Mark's Hospital in Salt Lake City. $100,000 for quad bypass surgery. And I don't know, I might have owed whatever, $300 or $500 that the insurance didn't pay for. Never heard a word. They just wrote it off. They'd rather have the $100,000, and they're going to get my next $100,000. Now, they're a private hospital, 5013C, private. State of Utah has nothing to do with them. It's the IRS that they filed under. So, here's my hint to you people. Never go to the University of Utah medical facilities. If you do, the Attorney General and Spanky are going to crucify you. They're going to crucify you. Excuse me. If you go to a regular hospital in Utah that's not owned, and I think the University of Utah is the only hospital owned by the state of Utah, they're going to treat you fair. They're probably going to want their money. They're probably going to say, send this bill in after a certain amount of time. If you can't send it in, they just write it off. Not the University of Utah. Spanky will be on your ass. Spanky is an agent. And he's not a secret agent. He tries to be secret, but he ain't secret. And he has the full force of the Attorney General's office of the state of Utah behind him. Interesting. Never patronize that hospital or its outward clinics. Same thing. They're all tied together like a snake in the jungle. You don't know where the head is, you don't know where the tail is, and you go from building to building. We'll call you back. What's your name? She's in a meeting, and your call is very important to me, but leave your name and number. I'm never going to call you back, but leave your name and number. You can't prove where I was. 90% of the calls you make in Utah go to a phone machine. These people, they want to be in charge, they want to be in control, and they're not going to call back if they don't like you. Sorry, school systems, anything in Utah is answered by a phone machine, and they hide behind that with the old Pele and ale, don't cut my throat, don't tear my heart out, don't rip my stomach out. Don't ever go to the University of Utah medical clinics, hospital, etc., etc. They will collect. And they have hired Spanky the Nazi. Go to another hospital and they treat you like a human being. 501 writes off, they're supposed to be helping the community, and they have to write off a certain amount of loss. They're not allowed to make money. University of Utah makes money hand over fist. Hand over fist. So finally, I call the hospital, and I'm on the phone for 45 minutes from department to department. Oh, we don't do that, but let me put you over to the university, not the hospital, but the campus. And I talk to, oh, we want to go back to the medical center. Oh, we don't do that. Can I talk to your law firm? They don't have one. It's the Attorney General's office. So now I know what I'm up against, at least. And I'm looking for that big answer pages of, we're going to screw you, Bard. Well, anyway, the Bard don't intimidate. I'm old enough to go to jail now. I don't care. I'm just going to die in jail. I'm banned from the university. I'm banned from this, banned from that. Anyway, so I finally get a lady on the phone at the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity, EEOC, I forget what it stands for. Anyway, she said, well, I don't know anything. God damn, get in line up there. Get in line up there. No one knows anything. She says, well, Mrs. Smart Pants is in a meeting. And you said, get her out of the meeting. I can't do that. Maybe I could just go in and say something to her. And maybe you could. So she goes in. Now, this is 2 weeks. I ask for the Articles of Incorporation, the donors for the last 2 years, their name, and the amount that they've donated, because the Mormon Church is on that list at over $1 million. $1 million given to the University of Utah Medical Center. 501, donating to a 501, all tax deductible. The money is being churned. And the money is being, what do they call that, washed? Not washed, laundered. Oh, dementia. I knew it was something to do with the washing machine. So the money is laundered between the two of them. So anyway, the lady comes back to the phone, and I said, listen, I said, do you know what a reasonable accommodation is? She said, of course. We're the office. We're the head of that. And I said, well, let me tell you something. I'm asking for a reasonable accommodation from you as a handicapped person. I want you to put me on hold. And you go search the hospital, not me, and find out where those damn documents are. So she puts me on hold, and then she comes back pretty soon and goes, I don't know how to do that. Neither does the public. Surprise, no one knows how to do that but the Bard. She said, well, let me put you back to the operator. I said, which one, the one on campus or the one up at the hospital? Which one do you want? Neither one. So she goes, sends me back to the hospital. And I'm starting to know these girls by name now that answer the phone and say, hi, David the Bard. And I go, okay, I need to know where that document is. So she says, well, who do you want to talk to? And I said, well, if Jesus is around, but usually he's never, no, Jesus is, I said, I knew it. He's not there either, is he? So she said, well, let me give you to an important person. And I said, okay. So this man comes on the line, and he said, I'm the chief operator. Of what? The train or the phone? So anyway, the phone. I said, well, can I get into your legal department? He said, we don't have one. It's the Attorney General's office. God damn. How am I going to survive this? I took 10 meds this morning, and I can hear the diazepam Valium calling me from the closet. Bard, save yourself. Dump that damn bottle down my throat. So, he said, well, those documents might be over at the foundation. I go, where the hell is the foundation? Oh, that's on Research Drive. That's clear across the God damn. Who do I talk to? He said, Carol. I said, okay. So I called. Carol, yes. I want to see the Articles of Incorporation and the donors list and the licensing review. Those are public documents. Do you have them there? Can I come over? What? Here we go. I'm called by the first name. Everyone knows I don't want to be popular. I just want to sit in this chair, get a Coke, potato chips, watch Wild Wild West. I don't want to do it, but I'm the only one that can do it. I'm the only one that can do it, and if there is a Jesus, he built me to come down here and try to make the world a more fair place for the rest of you. So anyway, I talked to Carol. She says, you need to call Ken Long. And I said, well, what is Ken Long's position? Because they send me to janitors, they send me to airlines, they send me all over the world. And I'm talking to people in Manila, people in Mexico, in Korea, down in India. And I'm a minority because I don't speak any of those languages. And so anyway, I said, okay, I'm going to call Ken. So I call Ken, and guess what? A phone machine. She says, well, he's the accountant of all of the business of the university. I said, well, we're probably getting close. So I left a message for Ken Long. Hello? Message? No call back? You bastard. So anyway, I wasn't able to get Ken. So I called Carol back. I said, Carol, Ken's on the toilet. I said, I can't find him. Do you have any of those documents? Well, now the truth comes out. Well, I have the Articles of Incorporation. I said, good. Maybe I could come over and read the Articles of Incorporation while they're still trying to print those for me and send me a copy. She says, well, I'm leaving. I said, I bet you are. Do you have your tail between your legs? It's the Bard. I'm leaving. I said, okay. When will you be back? She said, well, not till 2. I said, okay, is it okay if I come in at 2 and read the Articles of Incorporation? I guess so. I said, okay, I'll see you about 2 o'clock. Now, it's only 11 where I am, and I finally got back on the Harley, and Sheila was here now. They changed because a kangaroo doesn't work 8 hours. A kangaroo works 2 hours. Now, let me tell you something. There's a couple of you that have written in, and I do try to follow my comments. The one gentleman that wanted to know the difference between small claims court and district court, there's really no difference. There's no difference except in small claims court, they can't send an attorney in against you. It has to be a person. No attorneys are allowed in small claims. In district, they can send the attorney general after you, and your ass is just running towards the bathroom. So anyway, there's no real big difference. All the rules of evidence, there's going to be some things here and there, but don't be afraid of district court. It's the same as small claims, and they try to make you scared that they're really going to win because they know so much. If you have a legitimate case, you should be able to win in small claims. Now, the lady that sent me the kangaroo movie, oh my God, I just laughed my ass off. There's a lady that went into McDonald's and she had a seeing eye kangaroo. Now, this is beyond even the Bard. I would not think of this outside the box. Now I have. And little Jenny, she's tiny, and I'm going to put a harness on her like a seeing eye kangaroo and go into McDonald's. Well, McDonald's said, get the hell out of here. She goes, this is a service animal. Well, it went to court or to the judges. It went all to the upper-ups, you know. And they said, well, a kangaroo does not qualify as a service animal. Okay? Well, does a crocodile? Does an elephant? What about a monkey? A monkey can see red lights and help you. Can you take a monkey into a McDonald's or a public place? I don't know. Maybe the monkey has to have a name. Joseph Smith? I don't know what I would name my monkey. Well, I did name him the Little General. Anyway, that has nothing to do. I'm just giving you some insights that I do follow my comments, and I do want to answer them. And some of you on the emails, they don't go through. That ain't my fault, and I don't care. I'm very happy to type 2 or 3 words or a sentence and say whatever. But when they don't go through, now I'm not going to spend my whole day trying to get a hold of Yahoo or NetZero or whatever. So anyway, those two comments came in, and I'm happy to handle comments, but if your email doesn't work back from mine, that's why you're not getting an answer. I answer everything that is reasonable. When Spanky writes, "Is the Bard asshole there?" I even respond back, "Yeah, Spanky asshole. We're in the same family. Genealogy in Utah." So, in summary, don't mess with the University of Utah hospital, education. Now let me tell you something. I was going to send Abigail to the University of Utah for her college education. Not now. You can bet your ass, and I bet my left testicle, he doesn't work much anymore, so losing him doesn't matter much, that if a student owes money and doesn't pay, the Attorney General's coming from you. I will send Abigail to a different university. No way am I going to tangle with the state of Utah and the Mormons. Most of them are Danites. Most of them have no morality. Most of them smile at you like the Chinese and then stab you in the back. Don't deal with the medical units of the University of Utah or its campuses or its educational system unless you want to meet Spanky. God, some of you are stupid. You want to meet Spanky. Is the Bard telling the truth? God dang, go sign up. Go have open heart surgery. You know, St. Mark's put in 5 stents. 5 stents inside of me. That was just in my penis. No, they put some in my heart, and they charged a reasonable, I don't know, $50,000, $60,000, and they got their money from my insurance company. And the insurance company, oh, you owe 190 or 212. They'll bill you a couple times. That's the end of it. They're a 501, and they truly are a 501. They do accommodate the poor and the needy and the sick in their realm of business operation. Not the University of Utah, not the Attorney General's office. The Mormons are paying 10% of their income to Tommy and the Three Stooges. They never know where their money went. So the state of Utah generally is poor, but they'll come after your $200 in the Attorney General's office, and they'll come after $250 worth of attorney fees, and they'll come after and come after. It's a money-making system in Utah because the Mormons are poor and they pay their money to the Mormon Church. How did the Mormon Church donate $1 million to the University of Utah at their golf tournament? How did Spanky donate over $2,000 to the University of Utah at the golf tournament last year? The Bard's going to find out. And I've never heard of a state using their Attorney General's office as a collection agency for 501(c) programs. I'm going to bet my other testicle, because I don't need either one of them anymore, that it's against the law. I'm going to bet it's against the law. I don't think a 501 can be owned by a state agency. I'm going to check. I could be wrong, and you know me, if the Bard's wrong, I'll apologize. I'll say, hey, I'm wrong. I think there's something stinking in Lincoln. I think there's something stinking here, and I know I'm going to get a pile of papers from the Attorney General's office, and if you don't think they have endless attorneys and endless monies, you're stupid. You're stupid. You can't fight City Hall? Nah, you can't. But you know what? This is a quote from the Bard. You can't fight City Hall and win, is the implication. But you know what? You can spill your blood on their steps. You can spill your blood on their steps. There are some things worth fighting for and dying for. And you've heard my other quotes. I would rather die for something than live for nothing. You can't fight City Hall and win, but you can spill your blood on their doorstep and steps of the City Hall. So anyway, you're going to see the bar up there like a piece of hamburger. The Attorney General's office is going to, they've already, I'm sure, gone into my YouTube. The police department watches my videos all the time. The Mormon Church watches my videos. Now the Attorney General's office and all the retired FBI and CIA agents and the Federal Bureau here, they're going to hook up and they're going to hit my computer and they're going to hit what shows I watch and they're going to find out all these things about me. And, the Bard don't have skeletons. That's a hard thing to say. The Bard doesn't have skeletons. They're not going to find shit. And I can't do this kind of a program if someone comes up with another paternity suit. No, not another. Well, now wait a minute. There was one paternity suit. I told you that. I was married to the girl when the paternity suit went on. And the DNA showed I was 99.9% the father. And I said to my attorney, "Can we fight it?" He just sent me out of the office, shut the door. I go, well, he's not much of an attorney. 0.0001 chance. Not much of an attorney. So anyway, summary, don't deal with the University of Utah. Don't deal with the state of Utah. I haven't had my tax refund in 3 years. It may be 4. 4 years I haven't had my tax refund, and I can't find out how I accrued those bills. I can't find out in one place. Where is the disability center here? It's over here. It's 5 miles over here. Attorney General's office is over here. The University Hospital collection is over here. We can't talk to them. We can't tell you. It's sacred. It's secret. Well, the Bard don't give up that easy. And I want to be fair. I want to be fair. And just an update on my daughter's parking permit, too. Some of you follow and you get curious because I'm bipolar and sometimes I forget that you didn't know that. I had a meeting with the principal over at the high school, and Barney Fife, that's what I call him. And, Barney is not a bad guy. Barney Fife wasn't a bad guy. It's just that, when you have low self-esteem and you give that kind of a person a gun, you don't want to bring a knife to a gunfight. So I said to the principal, bring in the officer. And so he's there, and he's trying to control the conversation. And finally, I just had to remind him, number one, I'm not your 18-year-old high school student here. I said I'm a mature 67-year-old man, and I have 2 master's degrees, and I don't expect you to talk down to me, and I don't expect you to interrupt me. And I expect us to be able to speak as an intelligent person. Then you're very welcome to speak. Okay, he's sitting in the chair. He's almost here, but not quite. He's just, his legs are going, his arms are going. And so I told the principal, I said, this guy's young. I'm sure he has a family, and I'm sure he has children, and he doesn't need the Bard in his life. They said, well, we gave your daughter a parking sticker. I said, okay. And so she doesn't have to use the handicap sticker. That is the big debate. And I said, okay. And he says, your daughter had 2 poor citizenships. I said, I didn't know that. She says, right here on the computer. Slapped the shit out of Abigail when she came home and said, you made me look like a goddamn fool to me because I thought you were a perfect student, perfect child. So the principal says, well, usually we don't give any parking permits to children that have any kind of citizenship problems. So he said, now, I said, is it behavior? Because, see, last time it was behavior with Abigail. He says, no, I don't think so. I think she was either absent, AOL, or she was late to a class. So anyway, I corralled Abigail. She's been down there doing community service, kind of like the Mormon Church, cleaning the toilets out. Community service in a school in Utah is cleaning the toilets. That's just like the Mormons, they're dog shit. Make them clean the toilets. So anyway, an update, she has her permit, and I still had some handicap issues. And the policeman said, well, if you don't have any more questions of me, I'm leaving. I said, sit down. Sit down. I do have questions. I said, you read to me 4 times how I'm going to lose my handicap sticker if I don't pay you automatically $10. So I said to the principal, number one, there's no appeal process here, and the children who get tickets have to come to this man who wrote the ticket to appeal it. He said, no, that's against the law. You have to have due process here. It has to be a committee or a judge or somebody that tells this guy he's wrong now and then. He says, well, you're right. I said, the Bard's always right. And I said, no matter what, if you get a ticket here, it's a $10 fine, whether you're found innocent or not. I said, you can't do that. You can't collect money until the appeal process has been exhausted, extinguished. We'll look at that. And I said, you look at that form, and when it says a notice to appear, this man knows what that means. That's a court term from a judge. He ain't a judge. Request that you appear. That's fair. But notice to appear, take that word out of there. That is overstepping the boundaries of a policeman. I said, now, he read to me 4 times how the law, $10 is nothing. Well, it must be something because the school collects it. Every time there's a ticket, it must be something. And I said, now, if I call the real police in, Barney, don't call the real police. It's $125. And if you don't pay it, we'll put a boot on your car. Now, I don't know if you know what a boot is. It's a metal machine that they put over the tire and lock. You can't move that car until somebody pays the fine and someone removes the boot. Well, I didn't want to put a boot up his ass. He's a fairly decent guy. He's not, he's just a little bit full of himself. And maybe over time that will change. So now I said, now let me tell you what's going to happen to you if you don't accommodate me under federal law. So I read it out of the Utah code. I said, that's a piece of garbage. This is a federal law. I don't care what Utah says. I don't care what the legislator says. You know, polygamy, discriminating against, oh no. You can have anything in a book in Utah you want, but the federal government keeps you in line. Let me tell you some things you don't know. Number 1, I asked you at the counter yesterday if you knew what a reasonable accommodation phrase means and what it triggers. And you said no. Now you're sitting here today saying you've read the ADA. You know what, I think it was 1990, the original. Anyway, so I said, let me tell you. Reasonable accommodation triggers this. Number 1, you must accommodate me, unless there's 2 exceptions. One is that it totally tears apart the entire process of what's going on. I told you the other day, if I bring an elephant to court on a subpoena to testify, and all it does is shit and piss, that disrupts the court. That's not a reasonable accommodation. The second thing is, if it's too expensive. I cannot go to the Washington Monument. I walked it once. I think it's 900 steps, and ask them to put an elevator in. I can't do that. They're going to say that's unreasonable. Otherwise, you must accommodate me. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret, because I'm a fair guy. Everybody can't walk around going, I want an accommodation. You know, some people are going to take advantage of that. So when a person requests an accommodation, if you refuse it, it has to be in writing. And you have the right, you have to give it to them, or refuse it in writing. And then you have a right, according to case law, the Supreme Court, to say, go get a doctor's certificate showing that the accommodation that you're asking for is related to your disability. You don't have to reveal the disability at all. So when I said that in the school I wanted kangaroo bathrooms put in the boys' room and the girls' room, they said that's too expensive, it's not reasonable accommodation, so I let them out on the lawn. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. So anyway, I told him that. And I said, let me tell you what you told me yesterday. The consequences of my behavior. The consequences of your behavior is this. I can file right now. I can go right down to the federal courthouse and file a discrimination suit against you. Most of the time, a policeman and state authorities are immune from lawsuits if they're in their duty, if they're doing their job, even if they make a mistake. But here's a phrase you've never heard: color of law, which means it's a policeman or a judge under the auspices of the law discriminating. So when I sue you, it sues the entire department and maybe the state of Utah. Now let me tell you something else you don't know. I had a principal a couple of years ago say to me, well, if you sue us, you're not going to win because we're Mormons. The attorneys are Mormons. The appeal process in Utah is Mormons. The Attorney General's office is Mormons, and I know that now. And the Supreme Court is all Mormon. You'll be an old man before you go through all that. I said, you're right. Now listen, Mr. Policeman sitting here. I can go down to the federal courthouse and file against you and the police department under the color of law. And you know what? I don't have to get an attorney. They allow in pro per or pro se or pro bono. I guess that's for the attorney. We don't have to get an attorney. You do. I don't. I can just go in and tell my story. And you know what? I don't go through any Utah court. I skip all of your courts and all of your shenanigans in Utah, your books, this, that. I go right to the federal government. It bypasses every court system in the state of Utah. Discrimination can be done directly. I think ours is the 10th district. In Australia, it's the Kangaroos 001 court. I've been in both. So anyway, I said, I'm not going to do that. You have a wife, you have a family, and you're young. I don't know, you're not 28, 30. I said, you will learn over life experience. When you hard-ass people, it'll come back and bite you. I'm not the only person in the world that knows what the law is. But I'll tell you this, my friend. I'm an expert. I'm an expert in ADA law. I know the law. I've read the cases. I know the case law. And I know, you could be in a lot of trouble. But because you gave her a sticker, and because the situation is somewhat moot now, I'm going to accept your offer of the sticker, and I'll be gone, and you won't see me again unless you break the law. Then you can be sure you will see me again. And he got up and shook my hand, and I'm sorry. He said, I didn't mean to intimidate you. I said, listen, you don't intimidate me now, and you didn't intimidate me then. The bar don't intimidate. Well, he wanted to apologize for intimidation, not stupidity. And you can't fix stupid. Anyway, he's a fairly decent guy, but he has a little bit to learn. And he says, well, I'm not an employee here. I'm a police officer. I said, well, and then he said, and my salary comes from the police department. And I said, no, it doesn't. The school pays half of your salary, and the police department, so you don't even know who pays you. When you tell a policeman something he doesn't know, you're going to get the Mormon dance. So anyway, the meeting went well, and that's an update on that. So anyway, don't use the University of Utah facilities for anything unless you want to meet Spanky and you want to be jammed up the ass with a flaming sword. And you're hearing the bard. And I don't know, when the Attorney General office gets a hold of me, you may not see any more videos. It may be the end of the bard. But I died for something. I died for something. I don't want to live for nothing. You can't beat City Hall, but you can spill your blood on their steps. Pay me, lay me, ail me, pay me, lay me, ail me. When I was in the principal's office, I said to the policeman, they're both Mormons, I said, do you know who I am? He says, I know who you are. He says, you're very famous. I said, no, I'm not famous. He said, you got over 1 million people that have looked at you. And I said, well, that's a true statement, but I don't want to be famous, and I'm not famous. And I said, are you aware that I'm the man that drove around the community with a sign on my car, parked it in front of the post office, that says, health in the navel, marrow in the bones, strength in the loins and sinews, power in the priesthood, be upon me and upon my family for all generations of time and throughout all eternity? Well, I said, you guys talk. Well, you've been in our office several times. I said, yeah, I have. I've walked in on my own to make sure what the law is before I, engage in any behaviors. He says, well, you were arrested for disorderly conduct. I said, whoa, how do you know that? Well, we talk. I said, no, you've been watching my videos. Well, I do look at them. I said, God damn. I said, you know what? I was not arrested. There was a citation written for me and my opponent for disorderly conduct. And upon investigation, the Jordan Police Department, at my request, dismissed it. It never went anywhere, didn't go to a judge, I didn't get an attorney. You know, it was like a traffic ticket, and it was dismissed. And so anyway, there's the update. This deal is too long. The Bard is now gone.